Hello and welcome to A Cat in the Garden. I figured I would show y'all what the garden looks like because unfortunately there's another freeze coming tonight and it's going to get down to 18 degrees and I am not happy about it. Luckily, no snow in the forecast, no ice, no precipitation. It is rainy today, which is a good thing because that means the ground is all going to be wet and that will help insulate my poor little plants. We have not, ever since we've lived here, had a freeze, a deep freeze this late into the season, so I am very concerned. I have so many seedlings that I planted after the last freeze at the end of January because I thought we were done. I thought that was going to be it. And I was wrong. I was very wrong. So I will be spending my entire afternoon out here covering up everything. I think most things will be okay, but I have so many seedlings and I literally just, when I came out here, saw a few that just popped up today. So I'm very upset about that. And I'm just gonna hope for the best. But before everything potentially dies or gets damaged, I want to show y'all what the garden looks like because it at least looks nice for now. For now, we'll see what happens, but we'll show y'all the garden and I'll let y'all know like the plans I have for everything for the freeze. I have already moved all my peppers and my blueberry plant and my African blue basil. That's all in my garage already. All my porch plants are in the garage already. So I have at least prepped that, but I do need to get some frost cloths out here this afternoon. I'll probably wait for it to stop raining first. There's been a little bit of a drizzle on and off. So once it's done raining, I'll cover everything. But for now, let's go look at the garden. So this is actually the part that has me the most sad. The buds on this peach tree aren't as far along, but on this one, they really are. And I think I might try to cover them, but I'm probably going to lose them. So I'm very, very emo about that. They're not far along in the plum either. I have to cover this because this is not quite graded for our zone. I think it's like 9B to 11 and we're in 9A. So I will cover that. Over here, I'm not sure if I want to cover the thyme. I covered it last time. We had a freeze when it got down to, I think, 20. And it had no damage at all. But I don't know. I mean, these things grow in the north and people don't cover thyme. Hello, Saffron. Hello. You're very happy to be out here. Yes, you are. I don't know if y'all can tell, but that's actually her happy meow. She's very happy right now. Yes, you are. Okay, so if I have room, I'll cover this. And then I have a cilantro here that I'll cover if I do that. I think I will cover these. I shouldn't have to, but if y'all remember my January garden tour, these small Swiss chard did get damaged by the cold. So because all of these plants are so new, I do think I have to cover. I am gonna cover here again because it did save the chives and the salvia and my adorable little kohlrabis, which are much bigger now, but still not quite big enough that I feel good about it. Plus I have some baby leeks in here. Here's one. Like, they're very small, so I feel like I have to cover them. Got a couple kohlrabi here. This would be fine, and like this the chives will die back and then come up again, but they really didn't die back too much when I covered them, and they look so good right now. I'm so sad that they're going to just die back again, but hey, we should be done after this. We should not be having any more freezes. I do have this still out, so I'll just cover this back up, even though everything in here is a perennial. It should all be fine, but I think covering just reduces the damage a bit. And I do have the blue borage volunteer there, which isn't quite rated for a freeze like this, so covering it all will just help with the damage. I will not be covering the blackberries. I did leave this parsley out in the elements last time and it was fine. So if I lose it, I lose it. It's just one plant and I have used it several times. So that'll be fine. I have The asparagus will not get covered. If I have an extra blanket, I'll cover up this chard, but I really shouldn't have to. And the strawberries will probably be fine. I do want to show y'all my asparagus, which is really popping off right now. It senses that spring is coming. I think this is all going to get damaged, so I might just harvest a couple of them to eat. And I have all different sizes. So I have, these are like the baby asparagus. And then when they're thin like this, you can eat them, but they're not quite mature. If they're thicker, like this one, and the two I have popping up here that look a little purplish right now, they will turn green. Oh, there's a third one. This one just came up today. Those are the right size and maturity for eating. So, oh, there's really thin ones here too. It's very hard with all the dead foliage. So this you wouldn't want to eat because that's not mature enough. And I mean, if you try to cook that, it's just gonna get obliterated. So I might take this and a couple others just because it'll get wasted otherwise, but this will not get covered. There's no point. They're a perennial in some really cold zones. This will not get covered. This will, and I'm actually thinking about chopping back the artichokes because it'll be so much easier to cover them if I chop them back. And they did survive that last cold freeze. So if I chop them back, I'll get this covered easily, cover the lemongrass. Hopefully that will survive. And I think I'm gonna chop this fennel back so that it's easier to cover as well. But I'm really trying to protect the oregano, the lemongrass, and then I have a small parsley in here as well. And of course I would love artichokes, but 3 years in the ground and I have yet to harvest a single artichoke. So there's not a lot of faith in these at this point. It is what it is. This obviously not gonna get covered at all because there's nothing in here. Nothing in here either. The little broccoli died. I do think I will cover the cabbages. I feel like they could survive it, but from the last freeze, there is some damage on the leaves, so I think they'll get covered. I won't have to use a very big frost cloth for this bed, so I think it'll be fine. This, again, not getting covered at all. The kale will actually taste better after it's frozen, and it will get a little damaged, but it'll also kill whatever bugs are eating it, so that's fine there. The garlic will not get covered. This garlic should survive just fine, and I've actually held off planting my onions because I got sets last month, and then we got the deep freeze, and then I was gonna plant them actually last week, and then I saw in the forecast we're getting another one, so I am waiting for those onions. Otherwise, I would probably leave them uncovered if they were more settled in, but the garlic will be fine uncovered. Nutmeg is bird watching. He's trying to make himself blend in. I mean, he blends in a little bit. I feel like he camouflages slightly. Not her. She also just doesn't know. You're the one who is feral, and you're just not capable of hunting. It's so funny. He has better instincts than you, and he has never been feral a day in his life. That's all right. So in the bed, which Nutmeg is occupying, I will cover this. And it doesn't look like much in here, but I have all of these volunteer fennel. I have the big fennel that I just keep because it blooms. And then I have these peas. Now these peas actually survived the last freeze. And unfortunately, I do have one blooming. So that's going to die immediately. I just know it. I do think because these are shorter right now, I will be able to cover them and they'll survive. So fingers crossed. I'm actually glad I didn't plant new peas in here yet. I almost did. And I'm very glad that I didn't, because then we'd be in for some trouble. Like I am on the other side. I actually did plant some new peas, but we'll get to that in a minute. Here is where the seedlings begin. So right before the last freeze or right after, I planted a ton of seeds. Not all of them came up. Only half of my bok choy came up. But I have this baby bok choy, which is growing really well. So I will be covering this. I'm just very concerned. I'm not as concerned about the radishes because they're bigger. They're farther along. And my husband could probably eat that one over there. And then I have another row of radishes that are quite big. So I will cover them, but I'm not worried about them. And then I have some beets. Here they are. So they're very little, just about the size of my fingernail. But I do have some growing. There's a really tiny one over there. Some of them did die when they were popping up right when we had a light freeze, but a lot of them survived. Oh, there's one like way over there, I think. So they'll get covered, and then my adorable little white celery, this whole thing will get covered. And they and the radishes were up the last time we had a deep freeze, and they all survived. So this whole bed's gonna get covered. And I'm pretty sure everything will survive, but I'm a little worried about the beets and the bok choy. This is not going to get covered. So I have a row of garlic, perennial rosemary that honestly, if it gets damaged, my husband won't be mad. I do have 2 bok choy, but unfortunately, the second I planted them in the ground, they bolted because we had some warm weather. So they never even got very big, and they just bolted on me. So I don't care if they die because I never even got to eat them. And then I do have a little dill here. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna waste resources covering one dill plant. So if it dies, it dies, unless I have like a little bit of something extra to cover it, but I don't project that I will. Now, Meg, what are you watching? Oh, he's all puffed up because the rain is getting to him, so his fur puffs up a little bit. Oh, you're so cute. So cute when you get puffed up. Okay, over here, I don't have too much going on, but I am gonna cover this. I wasn't going to, but because these are mostly root vegetables, I did just notice today that my scallions started popping up. So I thought they all were just dead. They were bad seeds, but they have popped up. There's one over there. So I have to cover this. The scallions would have been fine if they were bigger, but they're not. So I will cover this whole bed. The beets I'm just growing for the greens here. So they will get damaged, but it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay. And then here, I think I'll cover, the collards are pretty mature, but covering doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. And then I did actually plant, after the last freeze, I planted new pea seeds. Hopefully they're short enough that I'll be able to cover them and they'll survive, but peas really don't like when it gets under 25 degrees. So I don't have a ton of hope, and I'm honestly really mad at myself now for planting them because this will be the second round of peas in a row that I've just wasted if they all die. So those are a little bit shorter. These are a little taller. I planted them all at the same time, but that is what it is. I might actually harvest all of this kohlrabi too, just to make my life easier and make things easier to cover and see what I can eat out of that kohlrabi. It's over a year old now, but it is what it is. I think I need to get these out and plant new kohlrabi. I think this up here will be edible at least. And then I do have a really nice looking kohlrabi right here. The bulb isn't quite as big as I want it, so that one will stay in the ground. But all of the others, they just need to go. They are way too big at this point. Hello? Hello? You having fun? Okay. So that's it for this garden tour. Please keep us in your thoughts and prayers that I don't lose all of the seedlings that I've already planted. I'm so concerned about it. I'm just so worried. But normally it's not a gamble. Normally we don't have a freeze this late. So I just don't know why this is happening, but I'm just gonna have a late start to the summer garden this year, and that's okay, I guess. Hopefully that means we'll have a little bit of a milder summer and maybe the garden will do better or something. Oh, that makes he's a bird. Oh, it's at the feeder, but I'm gonna have to hold him back so that he doesn't go kill the birds. Oh, there's several of them now. No, you can't have the birds. No, you can't. Nope. Nope, you cannot have the birds, mister. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to give Nutmeg and I here a thumbs up down below and subscribe so you don't miss anything from us here on the channel. Thanks again for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Okay, so I decided to cover everything before I finished editing my video because, well, the winds came about 3 hours earlier than I thought they would, and the temperature's dropping and it's very cold. So I have everything covered except that bed. I have to wait till my husband gets home because I don't know where the second bin of frost cloths is. It's in our garage somewhere, and every bin looks the same and it's not labeled. So I have to wait till he comes home for that, but that's fine because that means I can go warm up inside. These are all covered. One of my trees is covered. I'm gonna cover that other one when he gets home as well. And then if we have time, I'm gonna cover up that Swiss chard. Then I just have to throw blankets on top of both of these and we're all done. So it'll all be covered. Everything has at least one blanket and a frost cloth. And then I did put blankets around the peas. It's not the most foolproof method, but it's the best I can do. So hopefully everything will live. I just wanted to just show y'all the garden all covered up before the freeze hits.